Good morning. Whether you are here in this auditorium or whether you are at home, I welcome you to this few minutes of meditation. And I would like to say that this is from The Science of God Realization. It's by Roy Eugene Davis. And he was a minister who has since deceased. But for many centuries and in many cultures, the following self transformation processes have been discovered, tested by personal experience, and proven to be effective. This is Davis's 4 points, 4 ways of becoming closer to God. And so I would like to read those to you this morning. The first one is the way of right living. Rational, constructive thinking, ethical behaviors, an uncomplicated, wholesome lifestyle, meaningful work, skillfully performed, and all other actions which nurture emotional maturity and the actualization of our divine qualities provide a firm foundation for our lives and enable us to have the full support of nature and God's grace. Orderly, progressive, spiritual growth will naturally occur. So, the way of right living. The second way is the way of knowledge. Acquiring accurate understanding of the facts of life and living in accord with essentials. Lower knowledge of the mundane realm is necessary to have in order to function effectively. Higher knowledge of the one field of consciousness and its processes is liberating because it enables us to be self and God realized. To more easily acquire higher knowledge, which will eventually blossom as wisdom, use your powers of discriminative intelligence to clearly discern the difference between your true self and ordinary or conditioned states of awareness. Be aware of the fact that as a spiritual being, you are superior to your physical, emotional, and mental states. The third way, the way of devotion. Ardent attachment or loyalty rather than sentimental emotionalism. To what are you devoted? Be devoted to right living and to knowing the truth about your relationship with God. When you pray or meditate, be completely devoted to the process and to the ideal of experiencing the culmination of the process. And then the fourth one is the way of attentive, contemplative meditation, practiced by withdrawing attention from the senses, emotions, and mental states in order to elicit transcendent, superconscious states. It is the direct way to self and God realization. To be effective, diligent practice of contemplative meditation should be supported by right living, the acquisition of lower and higher knowledge, and unswerving devotion to cherished ideals. So, in conclusion or in summary, the ways that Davis mentions are the way of right living, the way of knowledge, the way of devotion, and the way of attentive, contemplative meditation. And so, as we come to this minutes here at this Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, let us simply take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that, and simply focus on your thoughts, on your relationship with God, on what and where you intend to do and be today. am firmly resolved to unfold my innate divine qualities as I skillfully do what is necessary to allow my potential to consciously know my relationship with the infinite to be fully realized. Thank you, and we will have service in approximately 15 minutes.
cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me. One light shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just want to shout. One life living as you and me. One light shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me. One light shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just want to shout. One life living as you and me. One light shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me. One light shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. Cause God is all there is. Oh yeah. Come on. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. One life living as you and me. One light shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me. One light shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just want to shout. One life living as you and me. One light shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me. One light shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just want to shout. One life living as you and me. One light shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. Cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me. One light shining as you and me. One love loving as you and me. Cause God is all there is. Oh yeah. Come on. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. One life living is.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. Whether you have gotten up this morning and came over here to join us at 4 Points by Sheridan, or whether you have invited us into your homes today through the power of live streaming, I'm very glad that you have chosen to join us. For those of you who might not know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer, and I have the honor and the privilege of being this community's spiritual director. We're part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living. And at Centers for Spiritual Living, we believe that there is one power and presence that is the creative energy back of everything that there is, seen and unseen. We believe that we were created in its image and likeness. And since it is creative, then we too are creative. And in fact, we have been creating the experiences of our lives our entire life, whether we are aware of it or not, whether we have done so consciously or unconsciously, we have created the experiences of our lives. And for me, that's the good news, because if I don't particularly like the experience I'm having in the moment, I can change it. Change your thinking, change your life is more than just a bumper sticker. It is truly a spiritual principle that we are able to use. And so we come together on Sundays and Wednesdays and for classes and for social events to walk this spiritual path with each other, to remind each other who we really are at our very core when we forget, and to really love each other up and raise each other up every day. And so I'm very glad that you have chosen to join us today. Just a quick reminder of a couple of things. Gourmets for God events begin this coming Friday. Woo-hoo-hoo! So I'm very excited for the beginning of those and for all of them that will occur throughout the next few months. We do have 11 different events, and there still are a few of them that are open. There's still a few of them that have some seats available. So if you want to know more about those particular events, please get a hold of Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org, and she will be able to assist you with that, because really, if you haven't signed up for some of them, you really do want to do that and to at least join us for at least one event over the next few months. The second reminder is that we are having a town hall community meeting at 12 o'clock following the service today, and I would love for everyone to stay and join us for that. If you are at home watching the service, you still could have some time, about a half an hour, to get in your car and get over here for the town hall meeting, should you decide you would like to do that. I would love for you to do that. I would like to take a moment to just thank Reverend Betty Harris for actually stepping in and doing the meditation today. Thank you for the beautiful meditation and for expanding the container that our service will unfold within. And speaking of Betty, please welcome her up to the podium.
Thank you. Okay. The theme for this year is Living Out Loud. And our theme for the month of August is My Passion, My Purpose. Reverend Dusty's talk title is Passionately Living Your Purpose Out Loud. I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet with the energy of unconditional love. Simply, we are here for God. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay, we will have a few minutes of quiet, and I ask you to turn within, open your heart and mind, and allow the healing sounds of the crystal bowls to simply wash over you. you to bring your attention back into this room. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and the threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. And I'd like to invite Vinny and Eileen to come up. Okay. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. And science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. So it is. And so I invite you to close your eyes and go within for a moment. We meet here this morning in the presence and as the presence of the divine. There is only one presence, and we are each elements of that one, both individual bits of the reality of God and part of the unity that is the whole of creation. We recognize that unity and our participation in it. We are all connected. While we may recognize it more fully at times, it is the ultimate truth of who and what we are, both an element of creation and individuals who can recognize, live, and embody the life of God in the world. So we come this morning celebrating our unity and also expressing our individuality. I know that this is who and what we are, and that is our opportunity to experience creating in these varied ways. As part of this, I celebrate the myriad ways that we embody and celebrate this reality. I speak a word of gratitude for the presence of Reverend Esty, knowing that she comes forward, as she always does, to celebrate the reality of God, the unity of all life, and with a mission to share with us God's presence in the world and the many ways in which we are blessed by it. We celebrate also and are thankful for the music brought to us by Karen Daly. I know that the joy of God's presence, the reality of our unity, are enhanced by the music, the songs brought to us by her. We are grateful, in addition, for those who came early to help set up this room and the space where this celebration is taking place, to create and to enhance the container for our service. This includes the work done by Heather and Martin and Amy and Reverend Dusty and all the others who were here, anyone else who spent time and effort to create the container for our service. And so, as we move into the remainder of our service, we do so with anticipation and with gratitude. And so it is. Okay. The reading for today is from Marcy Shemoff, And she says, when you're clear about your passions, you're lit by a fire inside that shows you what to do in each moment. You are led to inspired action. You know what you want to do in life, but you may not know how it will happen. Inspiration will lead you to the how. Let the fire of inspiration light your path and contribute to something greater than yourself in ways both large and small. And we have music now by Karen Daly.
Wow, there's a lot more people here right now. Where'd you all come from? Good morning, everybody. It's really good to be here. I've been away for a couple weeks on vacation, so I'm a little rusty. Work with me here. I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. Get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Never one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance when you get the choice to sit it out or dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never feel those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. River might mean taking chances, but they're worth taking. Love might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some hell-bent heart leave you bitter. You come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance when you get the choice to sit it out or dance. Dance, go and dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Karen. I think we give her another round. Another round. And, you know, in a conversation about living out loud, I think a song that says, I hope you choose to dance, is the absolute perfect song for today. So thank you so very much, Karen. I always love it when you're singing. This month, right, we have been talking about passion and purpose. Initially, encouraging people to really identify their hidden or buried or unexamined passions. And then from there, we dove into finding or really cultivating that connection between passion and purpose. And then last week, I talked about perfectly imperfect passions and really recognizing the challenges that we have as human beings and encouraging each of us to really let go of our self-doubt, to really allow ourselves to pause, to reconnect with our inner voice, our inner wisdom, and to really listen to it because it knows. It knows what really moves us, and we need to do so from a space in which we are willing to do what scares us, willing to get out of our comfort zones and to stand in the field of unreasonableness. A couple of weeks ago, Reverend Andy talked about the idea that we might all have the same purpose. And that is the purpose of being the individualized manifestation of God that we were created to be. Now, I found this lovely conversation by Reverend Dennis Merritt Jones in which he echoes this idea. He says, imagine, in the beginning, before we each arrived here from the ethers of the divine, that God plucked from his own essence little individualized globules of itself, and speaking to them said the following: soul beings, I am sending you on a mission. Your soul, S-O-U-L, and soul, S-O-L-E, purpose is to go to planet Earth and be me. To make this possible, I give you a uniform called a body, which is nothing more than a temporary carbon-based, biodegradable, disposable vessel from which you shall eject upon the completion of your mission. I also give you a personality with which you will create many learning opportunities about how to be me in the highest vibration of unconditional love. Because this is a big job, you'll not be alone on this mission. I sent 8 billion of you to be me. You'll know when you are being on purpose because you'll feel connected to something larger than yourself, which is me. Well, not me, but God. Be mindful of that feeling. It's called passion. And it will tether you to your purpose in the present moment. I breathe the breath of life into you because we are a team. We need each other to fulfill this purpose because I am the life principle that animates your being. You are my emissary, my divine delivery system. Therefore, your purpose is to be an open and willing vessel through which I flow into infinite and unique forms of expression. In an effort not to imitate other soul beings, I created you to be a one of a kind ambassador because I don't need two of anything exactly the same, which would be a redundancy in a universe of infinite possibilities. My desire is for you to be me as only you can be. Now, depart into the light and fulfill your unique purpose with passion. Oh, and by the way, when you arrive on earth, you'll forget all about this conversation. What? What do you mean we're going to forget all about this conversation? How the heck can we do that? What the heck is that all about anyway? How am I supposed to depart into the light and fulfill my unique passions when I've forgotten all about the conversation that we just had with God? Now, for me, in my humble opinion, I think that's because it's all about the journey. It's all about the highs and the lows, the hills and the valleys, the rights and the wrongs, the easy and the hards, the elation and the challenges of that journey back to God, that journey back home, back to our God selves and our remembering of who we really are. Now, that's what we've been talking about. That is exactly what we've been talking about all month. Talking about taking the time to really listen to that inner voice and to reflect on those things that light us up and that bring us fulfillment. To lean into the ones that feel right to us and to spark the flame of that passion within us. The invitation is to do something that we love every single day, something that brings us joy, something that moves us in the direction of our highest and best self. The bottom line is that our passion ignites our purpose. And as we align ourselves with that inner feeling, then we actually transform it to that next level. And that next level is to share it out in the world, to take and bring our passions and our purpose into the world, to shine our lights. The time has come for each of us to embrace who we have come here to be. To live our individualized, co-created expression and to live it out loud. To choose to dance whenever and wherever we possibly can. The world needs us. The world has been waiting for us. The time is now. I love this idea about living our purpose out loud. The Urban Dictionary describes living out loud as being ourselves, genuine, open, trustworthy, and doing it with sass, with some spice, and with some flair. Living on purpose, loving others and loving ourselves, living passionately for our values, no matter what. Letting others see us shine our light and not being afraid to be different, not being afraid or worrying about what other people's opinions about us are. Living a life that we're excited about, a life that we're living on purpose, consciously choosing to live on our own terms and inspiring others to do the same. Guided by our passions, we have an inner compass that absolutely knows what to do and when to do it. Our essential God self just shouts yes when we begin to turn our attention into the direction that it's been pointing to us for our entire lives. We've been placed in this universe at this particular time to share what can only be expressed by each of us in our own unique and individualized way. Qualities that our soul really came to offer. Qualities that were embedded within us before we arrived on the planet. As such, we are fulfilling them when we actually express them out into the world. Not keeping them all bottled up within us, but expressing them out into the world. For example, Stephanie Geminata was born in 1986. She was bullied throughout her school days and was called the germ. Labeled as weird and an outsider, she struggled to make it through. What kept her going was her love of music, both singing and playing the piano. She sang at open mic nights throughout high school and really auditioned for many different events, and often with numerous rejections. Later, she was sexually abused and suffered from PTSD. Despite all of these setbacks, she continued to believe in her passion and purpose for being here. We know her today as Lady Gaga, an award-winning actress and singer. She's recognized for her many philanthropic causes, including those of the LBGT community and other marginalized groups. She has been an advocate for mental health issues, for women's causes, and for civil rights in general. Now, sometimes, as it was with Lady Gaga, our awareness is very present. Our awareness of our passions is present throughout our life, and the path is straightforward, although that's not to say that there aren't challenges or hurdles. Other times, life might intervene, and what seemed to be our path and our expression of our passion may completely change. For example, Bishop Tutu, in his book, The Book of Joy, says, when Nelson Mandela went to jail, he was young. And you could almost say bloodthirsty. He was the head of the armed wing of the African National Congress. He spent 27 years in prison. Those years were necessary to remove the dross. The suffering in prison helped him to become more magnanimous, willing to listen to the other side, to discover that the people that he regarded as his enemies were human beings who had their own fears and their own expectations. Without those 27 years, I don't think we would have seen the Nelson Mandela with the compassion and the capacity to put himself in the shoes of others. A perfect example of divine right action and divine right timing. At other times, the path is often chaotic and messy. A particular yes leads us down one path, and then another yes leads us on a totally different path. Both are opportunities for sharing and for serving and for evolving. But it can be a very circuitous journey, a very circuitous route. So, for example, I graduated from high school in 1972. And as I prepared to enter into college at St. Cloud State University, I really knew that I wanted to become a physical therapist. Now, I don't know why I knew that, because I had never experienced one for myself, or nobody in my family had ever experienced one, but I only knew that it was what I wanted to be, and I was very passionate about it. Something within me was pushing me in that direction. Well, that fall, as I began my undergraduate school experience, St. Cloud State hired for the very first time an athletic trainer. Now, when I heard what an athletic trainer was and what an athletic trainer did, I got very excited because it seemed to me that it was a perfect combination of this thing that's like physical therapy, but also included my love for athletics. So it was both, and I thought it would be the absolute perfect position for me to do, the perfect thing, the perfect career. So I went about it with determination and dedication and commitment. I was very passionate about this field of study. I put in over 2,500 hours as a student trainer during my undergraduate years, and then I went to the University of Arizona to get a master's degree in it. Following graduation from the University of Arizona, I found myself back in Minnesota and served as an athletic trainer for, I don't know, approximately 9 years. About that time, I was beginning to feel some divine discontent. I began to feel like this career was no longer in alignment with my values and my sensibilities. It is said that we are either pushed by pain or pulled by a vision, and I really felt that both were happening to me at that time. I was really frustrated about what I was doing, and I really felt that return of the passion that had initially pointed me down the direction of becoming a physical therapist. So in that moment, I chose to shift gears and become a physical therapist, that thing that I had initially started out to do. In order to do that, I had to step out of my comfort zone. In order to do that, I had to do something that really scared me. At the time, Minnesota only had one physical therapy school. In the whole of the state, there was one physical therapy school. And I knew that up and down the coast of California, there were multiple choices, multiple options. And I felt like I would enhance my opportunity, the possibility of me getting into a physical therapy school by being in California. So I chose to move to California, to leave the state where I grew up, all my friends, my family, and to move to California. Soon after getting there, I found out that I had to redo a whole year of chemistry and a whole year of physics because they said that my chemistry and my physics was too old to fit the requirements for physical therapy school. Too old? Anyway, so I had no idea how I was going to be able to pay for these classes, let alone for physical therapy school. So I applied for and then passed the certification test to become a physical therapy assistant based on my master's degree in athletic training and all the years that I had been an athletic trainer. They let me take that test. And when I passed it, then I was able to work as a physical therapy assistant, which I did in hospitals in LA and up in Santa Barbara while I was picking up those prerequisites, right? And so after I had completed all of the prerequisites and gained some much needed experience, I applied for a number of different physical therapy schools. In 1992, 20 years after I initially started in a physical therapy program, I was accepted into physical therapy schools 20 years later. I graduated in 1994, and I have worked as a physical therapist ever since that time. My passion to be of service and to work in the medical field remained the same, and yet somehow it led me on this very circuitous route to get back to where I had started in the beginning. I worked in acute rehab, I worked in outpatient day rehab, I worked in acute care, and I taught PNF all over the world. My passion to be of service and to work in the medical field took me from Minneapolis to LA to Santa Barbara to Pomona to San Francisco, back to LA, and ultimately to Chicago. Now, while I was in Chicago, one morning, while I was in my morning shower, I received a call to enter into the ministry. Once again, I followed my passion and I said yes to that call. Once again, I had absolutely no idea how I was going to do it. Where the finances would come from, how I would pay my bills, and so on. I just knew that I trusted that call and I trusted my ability to follow that call, following my passions as I had already always done. So in 2012, 20 years after beginning physical therapy school, and 20 more years since I first entered into undergraduate school, I began ministerial school. And as the saying goes, the rest is history. Very circuitous route with a passion that was kind of like there, but unclear why it was there, what it was even about. Lady Gaga, Nelson Mandela, and I will humbly add my name to that list of people that have passionately lived their lives out loud. I believe that the first part of passionately living our lives out loud is the idea of the inner journey. That willingness to take that dive, to take that look into ourselves and really listen to what is being said by our inner voice, our inner wisdom, letting our life speak to us. Letting our life speak to us is really about making room in our consciousness for life to raise us up. Letting our life speak to us invites the truth to be known first in us and then as us. It's the energy of the divine already and always working within us. Already and always there, already and always present, already and always speaking to us. It's a divine invitation to step powerfully into creating a life and creating a purpose and our expression of it that really matters. That really matters. In living this life, in living that purpose out loud, the second thing that we're being invited to do is an outward journey. As author and minister Howard Thurman said, ask what makes you come alive and go do that. What the world needs is people who have come alive. Those things that make us come alive are the elements that are being invited into being. Those elements that already exist within us that are being invited into being as each and every single one of us. And the only way that we can express them is to live them out loud. This is the moment when we allow our lives to speak for us, not just to us, but for us. Letting our lives speak for us literally allows the light of the divine to pour out into the world over and over and over again. Speaking that which makes us extraordinary. Because it's more than just ordinary. We are all extraordinary. So speaking that which makes us extraordinary allows our passion and our joy and our grace to speak not only for ourselves, but to also beckon others to go beyond their perceived limitations. I want what she has. I want to do what he's doing. I can do that too. If they can do that, I can do that. This is contributing to something that is greater than ourselves, the outward expression of a life that matters. This is who we have come here to be. Be me, God said. Be me. William Barclay, a 20th century Scottish theologian, says there are two great days in a person's life: the day that we are born and the day that we discover why. Our inner guidance is divinely guided. We're being called to answer the call of our soul. Now, it might be scary. We might not know how we are going to get it done. Might not even make any sense at the time. But if we trust our soul's yearnings, we will live a life far beyond what our human mind could ever think was possible, far beyond what we could ever imagine on our own. When we discover what matters for us, what makes our heart expand and our soul sing, then our everyday acts, our everyday activities can serve others and can really assist the world in large and small ways, as Marcy Shimoff said. We may have an inner urge that stems from somewhere deep within us. That idea I had to be a physical therapist, a feeling that something needs to be expressed through us. We may feel a pull to have our story have meaning in some way, like Lady Gaga did, to benefit someone else in a way that is healing. We may recognize that our soul wants to contribute to do something good in the world. There may be an inner knowing pushing us to serve our community. Rumi says, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love." What we need to know is that there is absolutely nothing too big or too small in God. Absolutely nothing. Every call that we recognize as a divine call is important and significant to the world, or else we would not be receiving it. Or else we would not be receiving it. In order to live our purpose out loud, the invitation is to utilize our full potential, to give ourselves permission, and to practice having absolutely nothing to prove. In order to live our purpose out loud, the invitation is to find our bliss, to be of service, and to love unconditionally and generously. In order to live our purpose out loud, the invitation is to stop waiting. March to the beat of our own drum, bloom where we are planted, and stay the course. Stay the course. In order to live our purpose out loud, the invitation is to claim it, own it, express it, and live it. And the last invitation is to make carpe diem. The expression carpe diem be our daily affirmation, and to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are divinely supported as we do so. And so it is. So it is. Thank you all so very much. I just invite you to turn within for a moment of prayer, to allow ourselves to anchor this message in the presence of the divine, in our awareness of the presence of the divine, for the presence of the divine is always present. We don't need to call it in. It is already, always, and always within us and surrounding us. It is always, everywhere, at all times, in its fullness and in its wholeness, ready, willing, and able to support us, to guide us, to guard us, to unconditionally love us. I know that I am one with this power and presence. It is who and what I am at my very core. I know that its presence is that light within me. Its presence is that unique expression of God that is mine to bring forward, that it is my job. While I might have forgotten it for a moment or two, I am now really coming to the awareness that it is my job. Something that I agreed to long before I ever arrived on the planet. And if I don't be me and I don't bring myself forward and I don't live my passions and I don't live my purpose out loud, then who is going to do it? There is no one else. We are all unique. No redundancy in a world of unlimited possibilities. And just as I know that this is my truth, I know that it is the truth of each and every person here this morning at 4 Points, each and every person that is watching this at home now in real time, each and every person that will watch it later, all sentient beings on the planet. We are all divine emanations of the One. In that suit that we are given, here to be God's ambassadors. And it's from that place of unity that I speak these words about and for each of us this morning, truly knowing and affirming ease and grace for us around doing this. We are not doing it alone. There are 8 billion other individualized expressions of God on the planet, and we have God at our back. With that power and presence, how could anything be impossible? Nothing could be impossible. It is a power and presence that we can lean into. It is an awareness that we can use. And so I claim ease and grace around each of us, finding our passions, discovering them, bringing them forward, allowing them to inform our purpose, and allowing each and every single one of us to have a powerful yes to whatever is calling to be expressed in our lives. And knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that that call, that divine call, comes with everything that it needs to come to fruition. The only thing that it needs is our yes. And so I claim ease and grace for us around giving that yes, around opening our hearts and opening our minds and allowing ourselves to be that open vessel for God to express itself through and as us. I'm so grateful to know this truth and to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes. That my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken. And so I speak them and I release them into that law, letting go and letting God be God. And I invite each of us to anchor this prayer for ourselves, for each other, and for the world, simply by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Amen. Thank you all so very much. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. And this is the time every week when we offer our financial support to assist this community to continue to be a beacon of light and warmth and love in the Greater Triangle area. Together, we affirm the truth that this offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and contributes to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. There are several ways that you can give, and they are here on the screen or on your screens at home. The first is to visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. There's a give button up in the upper right-hand corner. You can text the word give using the following number, 919-230-8445, or you can mail a check to our office. Our new address is PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. I now invite you to take your gift, place it against your heart with an affirmation for yourself or for our community, and we will do our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. And as the baskets are being passed around, please welcome back up to the stage the incomparable Karen Daly.
Mike, there we go. This is a song actually kind of exactly what Dusty said. It's a song that helps me remind myself to keep shining my light when I'm feeling a little bit off the God path. It's called "Searching My Soul" by Vonda Shepherd. I've been down this road, walking the line that's painted by pride. And I have made mistakes in my life that I just can't hide. But I believe I am ready for what love has to give. I got myself together and now I'm ready to live. And I've been searching my soul tonight. I know there's so much more to life. And now I know I could shine a light to find the way back home. One by one, the chains around me unwind. Every day I feel like I can't leave those years behind. And I've been thinking of you for a long, long time. There's a side in my life where I've been blind. I've been searching my soul tonight. I know there's so much more to life. And now I know I could shine a light. Everything's gonna be alright. Oh, I've been searching my soul tonight. Don't wanna be alone in night. But now I know I could shine a light to find the way back home. I think I found my way back home.
Thank you.
I tell you, Dusty's talk, these songs, making me celebrate that actually I was not through with life when I moved into the old folks' home. in the three in the 3 years that I've been there, the first year and a half, I was sort of over it, and then I became appointed to my editor, the Herald, which is the old folks' homes Newsweek thing, and so that's what I've been doing now. So I have a whole new life. So just wait till you get to be in your mid 80s. Okay. If anyone would like prayer Let's go to our website at the Triangle Center for at the trianglecsl.org. On the home page, there's a button in the upper right hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the request form. We will get that prayer and we will send it out to all the ministers and practitioners. If anyone would like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone for anything, please contact Heather Abbott at info at trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer at yahoo.com. Please consider joining today with our community town hall meeting. It has been a year since we began to hold our services here at 4 Points by Sheraton. We will come together to talk about the results of our most recent surveys, the collective vision of our community visioning sessions, our financial health, classes, home groups, and new projects on the horizon. And let me tell you, it won't take not until nighttime. We will be through. Please join us. The meeting will start at 12. Bring something to eat or grab something to go from a nearby restaurant. We would love for all of you to be present. We will begin facilitating an abundance class called the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. For all of you who feel you are not experiencing the level of abundance you want, we invite you to join us for this Eastern inspired pathway to prosperity. We will be reading and discussing Deepak Chopra's book, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, but it will be supplemented with holistic practices from India's Hindu and Vedic traditions. This is a CSL certified class, and it can be used as an elective to enter the practitioner training. There are no prerequisites. The length of the course is 8 weeks, 8 Tuesday evenings, with the exception of Tuesday, October 31st. There's no sense in you being thinking about money when the spooks are roaming the neighborhood. So, beginning September 12th and going to November 7th. The instructor is Carol Cross, Master in Education, RSCP, etc. The cost is $245. Payment plans are available. And the text is The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. And I can tell you that if you haven't read it, that's an interesting book. Later in the fall, spilling over into the beginning of the new year, we will be facilitating Roots. How many people in here have had Roots? Okay, good. There's plenty of people to sign up. This course, do so. Mm. This course provides the student with an understanding of the historical roots in America of Ernest Holmes' philosophy. Specific emphasis is given to the works of Thomas Troward, Emma Curtis Hopkins, and Ralph Waldo Emerson. This is a CSL certified class required to enter practitioner training. You must have taken foundations in order to take this course. So, the length of that course is 10 weeks. It will be 5 Tuesday evenings in this year and 5 Tuesday evenings in 2024. Uh, Starting November 21st, going through December 19th, and then again from January 2nd to January 30th. The instructor is me. So show up. The cost is $245, and there are plans available for payment. Okay. In the comfort of your own home, please stand and hear. Please stand for our August affirmation. This is a call and response. Please repeat it with meaning. Okay. I am a unique expression of spirit. I am here by divine appointment to add to the expansion of the world. Within me is a divine spark waiting to be realized and ignited by my awareness of it.
Within me is a divine spark, waiting to be realized and ignited by my awareness of it.
Activating my inner sense of joy, I am aware that I was born with a unique passion.
Activating my inner sense of joy, I am aware that I was born with a unique passion.
The universe delights in expressing itself through me and as me.
The universe delights in expressing itself through me and as me.
I know that each passion I have is imbued with a perfect pattern that is continually unfolding.
I know that each passion I have is imbued with a perfect pattern that is continually unfolding.
As I listen to my inner guidance, I nurture my passion, and my passion ignites my purpose.
As I listen to my inner guidance, I nurture my passion, and my passion ignites my purpose.
I align myself with that inner feeling and boldly share my purpose with the world.
I align myself with that inner feeling and boldly share my purpose with the world.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Please be seated if you'd like. And just for one final moment, let's turn within and simply say, I express my gratitude for the opportunity to be here in this group, at this place, for this purpose this morning. It is a wonderful thing to be able to think and to know that God is present and that we are about the work of God in the world. And so, as we leave this place today, or as we leave this place somewhat later today, I simply say, thank you, God, for all that we have. Thank you for our purpose. Thank you for our energy. Thank you for it all. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you, Dusty.
Thank you all so very much for joining us today. There's still time for those of you out there to get in your car and get over here for the town hall meeting. So we'll see you all later. We'll pull out some tables, so if people would like to break bread together, they can do that. Thank you all. Have a great and wonderful week. I love you madly.
You and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me.